Sally Forth Paladins, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command, Orion Pirates Plus Plot. I'm Captain Tirak of the frigate HMS Pallas, as we continue our campaign against the Lyran Star Empire, and I wanted to start by making a small apology. Yesterday's episode saw the destruction of not one but two ships due to reckless aggression and a little bit of a devil-may-care attitude towards the ship itself. That's not really the way that we normally try and play this. We normally try and role-play this a little bit. It's not the main concern, but it is kind of something we like to keep in mind. And I kind of have let things slip a little bit in my death pursuit of an Iron Chancellor class carrier, and that's just not fair to you guys, especially because you watch and you try and pay attention and you point out really cool things and we try and learn from it, and to just go into battle with sort of a reckless stupidity, well, that's just not nice to or respectful to the audience. So we're going to try and reel things back a little bit, rethink, reassess, and go into the fights using our head rather than just saying, hey, I've got 5,600 prestige, let's just wait until we get something really, really cool. So with that out of the way, we still are kind of planning to get a Iron Chancellor, but if it doesn't show up soon, by halfway through the episode, we're probably going to look into buying something a little bit smaller. I'll say this Cavalier Heavy Carrier, which carries 14 fighters. It's not an Iron Chancellor Plus, which has 24, but at some point we do, of course, have to realize that we got to get going on this actual campaign. So the list is updating one more time, so we will give it a one last check through, and we may not even have enough money for the Iron Chancellor. I just saw that the Minotaur Dreadnought is now in this field, and that's 10,000, or not Minotaur, Monarch. That's 10,000 prestige. We are not there. So we're going to do a quick check through. We're in a GEN, which probably is not a particularly powerful ship. Twin fusions, 2 phaser 2s, and one phaser 2 and a phaser Gatling. We will be in this only for a very short period of time, and then we'll move up into something reasonable. The Klingons are here. Well, that's interesting. So let's immediately throw ourselves into a mission where we've been ambushed by multiple superior forces, because that's the way we play. So let's red alert and increase speed in our little Tholian ripoff shuttle and get ourselves up to our power of whatever this is. Wow, that's actually quite quick. We're not quite able to go full power, but that's a speed of 19. Jeez. We have been ambushed by a Dreadnought and a heavy cruiser, so we're going to split the difference and burn. We're not fighting this. We're just going to get out of here. This is an ambush mission, so we're going to respond by immediately fleeing as we're supposed to. In certain circumstances, I would try and fight things, but this is a full-on Dreadnought right here. This is, granted, it's the smallest Dreadnought you can get. It's only a C5, I think, right? Yeah, it's a C5KR, so it ain't exactly filled to the gills with cannons. I mean, it is a little bit, we can show you that. But this is not anything terrifying. This is I won't even call this a light Dreadnought. Well, it is technically a light Dreadnought, but it's really, really pathetic. It's very much a signature of most of the early Dreadnoughts, which are basically just slightly beefier heavy cruisers that have a longer range. So we can easily cruise on away from him. He has no chance to actually catch us, so we're just going to soar right on for this red border and bail the heck out of here. We're actually still outrunning him. He's not capable of making a speed of 31. At least that's what it appears. So take our little tiny shuttle to warp, and we will zoom on through. So an unfortunate way to begin, but we are going to get prestige for that one, because technically we accomplished our mission. Technically. We would have gotten more prestige if we had managed to take on a Dreadnought with something like that. Technically considers it a draw. How cute. So let's go on another patrol. Keep the aggression rolling, although last mission we were running for our lives. So rebuild the aggression and throw it forward. So let's red alert, and what do we got? We got a single frigate off at range. It is a Lyran frigate. We're being escorted today by the Beast Hunter and the Gallant, or the Gallant, depending on how you want to pronounce it. The Gallant is a more powerful version of what we are. He's got triple fusion beams instead of single fusion beams, and then a pair of phaser 2s instead of a single phaser 2, which makes him actually much, much nicer than we are. The Beast Hunter, on the other hand, is a Marak freighter that we're currently borrowing, although we're only fighting a Lyran Police Plus cruiser, or frigate, so this shouldn't be all that difficult to throw ourselves at, and there's a freighter as well. So nothing too dangerous, completely within our capability of actually handling. Police ships, well, we're kind of them. And another frigate off over here in the distance. According to the fleet screen, we're looking at an FLG. Call of the Wild is my guess on that name. So we're going to throw ourselves at that. I guess it's a Highlander? HGN, that's what makes me think it. But the Gallant will have no difficulty of really taking on him. We shouldn't have too much difficulty taking on the frigate over here, the police ship. But you never quite know. Let's actually make sure that our weapon groups are fully set up. Amazingly enough, they are, but then again, we only have 4 weapons, so it would be kind of hard to mess that one up. Let's get our forward shield reinforced to a certain level. It already is set up for us. Wonderful. And we're doing a speed of 13, which is considerably less than what we're capable of doing, I thought. Unless I wasn't charging the fusion cannons in that mission. That's entirely possible. Well, our fusion cannons are set and ready to rock. They are point-blank range weapons. If you ever see AI utilize these weapons, like you just saw, almost no damage. However, if you actually use them the way they're supposed to be used, well, then they do things like this. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There we are. Yeah. Oh, is our Gatling phaser... Is that only a rear arc? Oh, what a horrific ship design that is. How could you possibly install a Gatling phaser that only shoots backwards? You evil, evil people. Oh, I didn't even realize we have a fighter squadron. Launch the fighter squadron. We are a tiny little frigate that has 4 weapons on board, and we bring 2 fighters to the fight. There is nothing more Hydran than that. So we're going to have to make use of our fighters because they are incredibly good. Hydran fighters are fantastic in all ways. A little bit more fire going down from our Phaser 2, and our Phaser 3 should be able to clean him up. Oh, not quite. We weren't able to punch through. What do you got? You do have an expanding super generator, which makes you pretty dangerous to our fighters. However, we're going to just carefully manage them, make sure that they're actually doing what they need to do before we finally finish this guy off. Okay, he's been finished off. Wonderful. We do have lost a shield. We have lost a shield. We do have lost a shield. Yeah, and this FLG will be ours. We're going to keep the fire squadron close. I don't want to be too aggressive with them. Drop our speed a little bit. Yeah, okay, so... Oh, crap. Full power, full power. Never mind. Nope, did not work out as well as I was hoping for. It was the Call of the Wild. I was right. Slow down the speed so we can get our other fusion cannon charged up. We want them to be at full power. And are you mine? Let's find out. No, my fighter squadron's dead. Oh, well. So, I'm not quite sure when he died, but apparently it happened recently. Let's see if I can't catch him. Come on, I want to do this perfectly. And the charge is not working for me. I'm going to have to get closer than this. Yes, a range of 2.5 is far too far for the fusion cannons to do what they need to do. Oh, nice job completely clearing away his rear shield. That works wonders. I should be able to get in a good shot in this one. You are surprisingly nimble. Fire it. Only 12 damage because we were not at a range of 0, which is where you want to be when you're using this weapon system. Gatling phaser. Hey, 16 damage. And we'll pull away. Ooh, that hurt. Rear shield is down, but we're doing okay still. Most of our systems are intact. We haven't lost any power. Our weapon systems are still in good shape. His expanding shore generator is currently non-functional, or at least it looks to be stunned, according to information coming to us from Beast Hunter. And our Gatling phaser not yet ready, but could be soon. Interesting plan. That prevents us from making the drive-by that I had been hoping for and using my Gatling phaser on his rear. But I'll work with it for now. We'll slow down a little bit. The Gatling phaser only shoots backwards, and our phaser 2 shoots in 360 degrees. So hopefully we can make good use of it. Wait for it. There it is. Hurt ourselves a little bit in that blast, but that's perfectly okay. Only a freighter left against our... Oh no, there's 2 enemy frigates off over there. Interesting. Again, we haven't lost any power, so the explosion must have been caught in whatever paper-thin armor that we call armor. Should have said tin foil. Alright, so let's take the opportunity to actually set up our fusion cannons as they should be set up. If you are playing as any race with a fusion cannon, pirates and the Hydrans only, overload it. Why? You are never going to fire this weapon beyond a range of 8, and if you do, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, that's just facts right there. This weapon was not designed to be used beyond point-blank range, and to emphasize my point, I'm going to come over here to the Pamphlet of Justice, which is the little handout that comes with the game if you were lucky enough to buy it way back in the early 2000s, and I'm going to find myself the Fusion Beam table. At a range of 2, this weapon will deal a minimum of 2 damage, up to a maximum of 6. If you go to a range of 3, it goes down to a maximum of 4 and a minimum of 0. Yeah, this gun is worthless outside of point-blank range. If you overload it, your maximum range is essentially 2. You could go 3 to 8, but again, it would be 0 to 6. So overload this weapon because you're never going to use it at the ranges that it can't work at. And the suicide overload, well, that's just only if you're feeling, well, moderately suicidal, as the name would imply. Let's kick up the speed now that all weapon systems are charged, and we'll talk a little bit about the fusion cannon aside from its range detriment. It has one of the most interesting weapon charge mechanics in the game, namely it doesn't react the way that any other weapon system in the game. Missiles take no power to charge. Photon torpedoes charge up and then take less power to hold. Disruptors charge up and take the exact same amount of power to hold. Plasma torpedoes will charge up and then take less power to hold. PPDs charge up, less power to hold. Different firing modes, it'll charge up faster or it takes less power to charge and you get fewer shots out of it. But the fusion cannon has a cooldown. You fire this weapon, and depending on the mode that you fired it will depend on how many turns it takes for the weapon to cool down. In this cooldown phase, it takes no power. Which means that in the immediate turn or two afterwards, you can be hyper-aggressive with your other weapon systems because you don't need to put any power into charging this heavy weapon. Afterwards, then you get your then you have the actual recharge phase where it does require power. It's a fascinating mix of tech, and I really kind of like it, even though I don't really like using the weapon. The fusion cannon is moderately unreliable in my book, mainly because you have to be so gosh darn close to the enemy to actually use it. I mean, here we are at a range of 7.5, and I can't really use it. I mean, you probably wouldn't use most weapons. The PPD, sure, but at a range of that. Still, unless you're at absolute point-blank range of 0 all, there is no point in trying to bother utilizing a fusion cannon, because beyond that, you're just not doing anything. So we've got a nice little angle to come in here at the Star Claw, and at a range of 0, we can expect between 12 and 19 damage per fusion cannon. So let's get to that range of 0 and say hi. Oh, it's 21 damage, and the Gatling phaser for the follow-up. There we go, for an additional 11 damage. I wish that Gatling phaser fired forward. If it did, we would have a devastating combination. But sadly, that is a higher rank of frigate than what we're currently driving, based on our own arrogance and stupidity. But as we come around, we should be able to take them. And as you can see, the fusion cannon is not taking any power. And that's not because I'm not giving it any chance to give power. Even if I drop down to 0, it's not going to charge because it's still on cooldown. So it's a really interesting mechanic. Unfortunately, we're not really in a position to be hyper-aggressive. We don't really have any other weapons aside from our fusion cannons. So slowing down, chilling out, waiting for things to reset is kind of the thing that we're going to have to do. Luckily, we have quite a bit of power into our forward shields, and they charge pretty quickly too, which is the fun part. It's the cooldown that's going to catch you. But the charge up, oh, it's nice and rapid. More fusion beam cannon firing back and forth between the two. Let's see if we can save our buddy. If the Beast Hunter goes down, we'll consider that a moral failure. Ooh, are we going to have the right timing here? I'm going to see if I can't set this up properly. Oh, I think I may have unloaded one of them. Go by me, and we'll come around. Wait for it, wait for it. Got him. Beautiful. That actually worked out pretty nicely. So we're going to zip on and head home. So maybe there'll be an Iron Chancellor waiting for us. One can only dream and hope. And dream. And hope some more. And maybe a little bit of prayer in there, too. 408 prestige is our reward and a tile taken. Lovely. We need to knock down the Klingons out of this location. This is not their area of space. I don't know why they're here. Well, I do know why they're here, but I don't want them to be here. So, Shipyard, hi. We're looking for an Iron Chancellor Plus if you happen to have one, because we think that would just be aces to have. Nope. Well, we're halfway through the episode, and it ain't there, so I think we pick ourselves a Liege Light Dreadnought, which is equipped with triple Hellbore, 2 fusions, and a whole bunch of phaser ones by, thank you very much, HMS Citadel, our first capital ship from the season. We shall sell the Palace. It was an interesting endeavor, but we're not here to keep you around. And we'll also make sure that we crew up the vessel. Killer Bees, no thank you. Hornets, no thank you. Yellow Jackets, no thank you. Oh wait, no, I do want Hornets. Give me the Hornet. Thank you. And the reason why we want the Hornet, and the Hornet has Hellbore cannons on board, which means we can use them in a defensive support role rather than having to send them right into the teeth of the enemy where they can get annihilated. Being a light dreadnought, we have more in common with a battle cruiser than we do with our much larger dreadnought brethren, so we're going to have to make use of that. and our speed and maneuverability will be the way that we will hopefully win battles. Get ourselves just fully kitted up. We're going to be in this ship for probably a while, and set off into Klingon space, which apparently has no missions. Okay, set off into Lyran space. Will Lyrans have something for us? Watch, the moment we return home, there will be an Iron Chancellor waiting for us, I guarantee it. A surprise reversed is an aggressive way of being able to demonstrate your brand new ship, but not particularly entertaining. However, it will be good free money.
Red alert.
So, red alert, and let's increase speed. Let's see how fast this light dreadnought can go. So, charging up the engines. Wait for the shields to come on. No, I've got full power. Ooh, we got decent shields, actually. So, it takes 1.2 points of power to increase our speed. 1.25, I want to say. So, we are actually capable of going quite quickly. Look at that speed. Wow. We're doing 5, 10, 15, 21, 22-ish. And we're squaring off against a frigate, a heavy cruiser. Okay, you're the primary target, clearly. Fighters, hi, Hornets, let's get you out.
Affirmative. We'll cover you.
And we dedicate these Hornets to all the people who absolutely adore Hellbores. Speaking of, let's get our systems set up. So I want Hellbores on DOS because I will use them at great range and often. And then we will put all our phasers on 1. And all our energy weapons point blank range at 3. Wonderful. So 1, 2, 3. And red alert for everything. So we're going to dive on top of this guy and basically nail him with as much firepower as we can. Now ideally we would want to get the fusion cannons up to full power, overload them. But I wanted to dive on top of my opponent before he could do anything. We are indeed capable of going at maximum speed. Lovely. So hello, we're here to play for as long as you can survive. And I probably should order these guys to actually go after somebody. I would hope that they would have opened fire. There they go. 36 damage to opening fire with their Hellbores. Do quite a bit. Their second salvo, and he's gone. Alright, lovely. At that point, I think they're out of ammunition. So let's return to me. And return to me. We'll get their cannons recharged and refitted. We'll slow down, do a nice little brake turn here. And get basically right on top of the climber. Speaking... Don't you dare try and kill my little fighters, or I will turn you into slag. We have an 83% chance of making a high energy turn in this light dreadnought. That is moderately entertaining. I hear plasma torpedoes. So let's get all of our phasers a firing. Oh, you fired plasma torpedoes from essentially maximum range. I can't help but think that was not the most well thought out plan that you've ever made. Ooh, most of our phaser ones only fire forward. That is kind of distressing. Because it does mean I don't have perfect 360-degree firepower. So it's going to take another volley from our weapons to finally actually crack this guy. Although this center mount should... Yep, there you got a lot of fire resistors just came online as we pulled them around. By a lot, I mean 2. We have a very narrow arc of fire. Although, it looks like our Gatling phasers do fire forward, so there is that working for us. Fusion cannon firing. Our range is at 2, so not particularly effective fusion cannon range. Alright, he's down. We're looking at friendly, an LR, just a whole bunch of LRs. Okay, we'll go for you. Pick up the speed a little bit more. Our starboard side weaponry is ready to rock and roll. And looks like most of our phasers are about to come back online. I'm not sure if we'll be able to kill them in one pass, but we're certainly going to give it the old college try. Gonna get right on top of them so our fusion cannons can do the most damage that they possibly can. And once we roll them in, we should be able to crush him. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now we're just going to wade through the incoming fire. There is a downside for doing this. The closer you are to the enemy, the more damage you take when they die. And by being right on top of them, not all, just the forward please, it hurts us. And we can actually lose quite a lot of shields by doing this. So slowly drift in on the Boxman. And then there will be one more after that, and they were all equipped in the exact same fashion. Okay, nothing too special. Plasma torpedoes to the face. And we took him out with that. And the rest of our weapons should be ready shortly. Our fighter squadrons have finished repairing, however we're not going to launch them just in case. If they are damaged at the end, then they will need repair. Oh, he's just gone active. Hellbores. Probably shouldn't have fired the Hellbores, but I wanted to. Phasers to cause even more damage. And his shields are up, but he ain't gonna be much longer for this world. He's already opened fire with his missiles. And our Gatling phasers is able to easily plink them away. The safe cracker. Yeah, you're You're probably not going to get away with this. Gatling Phaser's getting involved, crushing open a couple of his shields. And he's lost his centerline phaser mounts. He's stunned one of his missile launchers. We've taken out his shuttle bay. Yeah, he's about to have a very bad day, especially when we come around on him and hit him with the Hellbores. Because the Hellbores are where it's at. Although, I've only got one of them ready to go. There we go. Oh, he's just having a terrible, terrible day. He still has enough power for a missile, though. So we got to give him some credit for that. We're just going to get right on top of him and go in here. Oh, that was a clever use of tractor beams. By holding someone at a range of 2.5, you drastically reduce their fusion cannon potential. That's actually pretty clever. Got to give him points for that one. Small claps. So we have moved into a Liege Light Dreadnought Plus, which gives us basically just more Phaser 1s instead of Phaser 2s. Because Phaser 2s are useless. And we're at 2,000 prestige. But that's going to do it for today's episode. We've upgraded to our brand new Dreadnought. We have a couple of fighter squadrons. Not as many as we had hoped for, but this will work more than okay. We probably should secure some territory along the neutral zone just to give us a more secure neck. Kind of make it so we're not nearly as vulnerable as we were during the Moran campaign, where we had just this little tiny path of travel here. And yeah, anyway, I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see the notification every time I release one of these videos, press the little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.